What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. I am excited about today's episode because it's now I'm doing and not just talking. I kept telling you guys I was going to have people on here for y'all, and it's gonna happen. We have someone scheduled today. We have Ilse in the house. Hello. Ilse. Thank you for being on again. And then we'll have another guest next week. We're gonna have my trainer on. So I'm getting you guys ready for the 2022 year, and I thought this would be a great way to end. And so I feel like my slogan for the month of December is going to be finish strong. So finish 2021 strong, and I'm going to have people on the podcast to help you finish your year strong. So with that being said, you guys know I like to kick off the podcast with a positive quote, and today is the word success. Success is no accident. It is hard work, sacrifice, learning from failures, and persistence. And I thought that is the perfect quote for Ilse today, because a lot of social media stuff is trial and error, mistakes, keep being persistent, posting what works, what doesn't work, and what does, all of the above. So I actually met Ilse. I think I've told you guys this before, that I met Ilse through, the pandemic. Yeah. And so during the pandemic, I did this thing called Women in Business.
Yeah.
And I was interviewing you and asking you all these questions. And I was like, hurry up and end this interview because I need to talk to you, because my life's just about to get easier. Because everything you do for me now, I was trying to do myself, and I was just like overwhelmed, and I wasn't really executing anything like 100%, because I was also trying to execute my husband's stuff, my stuff, and everything else, kids and so forth. So tell us a little bit about what Connect Media Firm actually does, and then, the services that you provide for a gazillion of your customers.
Well, the quote that you mentioned is so important, because whenever I had first started, which in April is going to be 3 years that I've been self-employed. And whenever I first started, I just had this idea in my head of like, well, everybody needs help with marketing. And of course, everybody usually, whenever you go into if you say a photographer, it's like usually what people think is like, oh, family photos, and stuff like that. But to me, coming from a background of entrepreneurs and my parents being entrepreneurs themselves, and I come from a background of TV, I saw the power of marketing through businesses, and they need to promote themselves. Sure. And so whenever I first started, it was very much trial and error as well, because to me, I just had this idea. I'm like, I'm just going to offer everything marketing related. I was building websites, which I know recently we talked about that. I'm like, and I don't do that anymore. But from the beginning, I was offering websites. I was event coordinator. I could be your PR. Whatever you want, I will be. You tell me, can you do this? I'm going to say yes.
She just posted a story, and it said on there something about website. I said, wait a minute, I didn't know about that service, Ilse. I was like, what's going on here? It's like, I need all the services from you. I know.
And it's so crazy though, because whenever I first started, I just had this idea, or I guess backtrack into how I even got into it. So I was working in TV for 4 years at Telemundo. And I swore I was going to be a reporter. My major is broadcast journalism. I went to U of H. That's what I studied. That's what I was going to do. I was already in TV in the top market that you could possibly, in Houston. I was making good money and everything. And then once you're there, and I had this conversation actually yesterday with one of my friends who's just moving to Miami to now work for the network, Telemundo. I just realized, I'm like, this is just not for me. I need a creative field. I need every day something different. And I really need to work that part of me that I just want to create, And while I was there, one of my friends who's a personal trainer at the time, he asked me, I have always been active on social media and taking pictures for myself. At the time, it was for me. And then my friend who was a personal trainer, he has a business. He was like, have you ever thought about doing that? Whatever you're doing, writing really cool captions, taking really cool photos for other people.
Sure.
And I was like, no, I just do it for fun for me. I just enjoy it. And he's like, well, how much would you charge me if you do that? Whatever you're doing, but do it for my business. Do it for me as a personal trainer. And I was like, I don't know. How much do you want to pay me? I've never done this before. And then when I realized, he was like, well, I think I would pay you X amount. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I started doing the math, and I was like, wait, if I have 10 clients with that same budget, then I have a whole salary here.
Yeah.
And then that's when my wheels started turning. And I sat down with my parents and I was like, hey, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think I'm going to quit my job. Like, I think I'm going to pursue this. Like, I'm not happy, but I think I can do it. I don't know why I feel like I can do it.
Right.
And it seems so easy in my head. I'm like, yeah, 10 clients, X amount. I just need the bare minimum or whatever. Yeah. And of course, my parents have always been so supportive. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
They weren't like, wait, but you didn't go to school for that.
No.
That's awesome. Because most parents, like, when you go to school. Yeah, because I know when I went to school and then I told my mom didn't have a problem with the entrepreneur part, right? She was just like, yes, you need to do it. At first, she was like, but your degree is going to still be involved, right? And I was like, fortunately, yes, but that was her concern. Even though she didn't pay for my college,
I see that.
But you know what I'm saying? A lot of parents will feel like discouraged and be like, that's a really big step. You're young too, because how old were you then?
22.
See?
22? Yeah.
22. What were you doing at 22, Rob?
I had just dropped out of college.
There you go. That's
we're all taking risks.
To be an entrepreneur.
It's crazy though, because I felt like I actually felt the most guilt doing that step. Like my parents are like, yeah, let's do it. But my mom has always been a business owner. My parents have always been business owners. So to them, it's nothing new in our family. Yeah. I think they were just surprised that I think the biggest jump is the fact that I was leaving a TV job with such a huge name that and till this day, even this weekend that we had my grandparents' 50th anniversary, when I'm still like seeing people for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic, they're like, oh yeah, you were on TV. You're the one that worked in TV. And I'm like, I did, not anymore. So I think honestly though, the hardest part is detaching myself from the fact that you work in such a cool job in TV. Like it just was so cool to say that, but to me, it's like, it's not what it seems. Like, it's really not. Like, it just wasn't for me. And so I actually felt the most guilt. I was like, dang, I really felt like I'm going to let my parents down. But fortunately, actually, like my whole journey in working in TV has helped me till this day, because a lot of I still help a lot of my clients, like literally like Dulce, who we both know. She, like my friend interviewed her during the Astros World Series because she's a friend of mine and she's a reporter. And she was looking for stories to highlight local businesses. And I was like, yeah, my client, she does that for, you can highlight her earrings that she's doing. So everything kind of like till this day, I've still been using it. And so I quit my job and I started, it was really a free fall. Like I literally knew nobody. And like anybody, whenever you first start, I started doing a lot of things for free. I was like, hey, let me get you an interview on TV for free. I have contacts. Like I can do it for you. Like I can do this or whatever. And it took honestly, I think it only took about 2 months. And then one of my first clients was Dulce. Wow. And I've been with her since then. And she found out about me through social media. Like one of my first clients was through Instagram.
Okay, so let's talk about that. People don't realize how important social media is to promote your business. Oh, man. So how did she find you? Was it through a hashtag? What did she search? Because here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Yeah. And at the end of our podcast, we do have a promo code for you guys to use if you're a business owner and you're listening to this and you want to take your business to the next level when it comes to presentation on social media, your assets on social media. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what Idsa does for me as we go through the conversation. But one of the things you taught me was at the top of my business, it should not say like her apparel. It should actually say like Houston. I think I changed it to Houston streetwear for women or something like that.
Exactly.
Because that's how people can search you, engine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So is that kind of how she found you?
So it's been a mix of both. She found me. It was also because it was strategic. Whenever I first stepped in, and you've probably heard about them, HTX Boss Babes. Whenever I first stepped in, I looked up people on Instagram first to reach out to. And so what I did, because I didn't know anybody. Like I came from corporate TV. I was such in a secluded world. And so I got myself on Instagram and I was like, okay, Houston Boss Babes, Houston Entrepreneurs, Houston Business. I was looking for groups to get involved to meet people. And myself searching those things, then that group came up, HTX Boss Babes. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, it's an organization and they connect, business women. I'm going to reach out to them.
Yeah.
They've never met me before. I sent them a message and I was like, hey, like, I'm starting my business and I'm trying to meet people and I'm trying to get clients. Like, I see you have an event coming up. I can get you interviews on TV to promote your event. Like, I just need you to promote me like that. I can do this. And sure enough, they gave me the opportunity, which is crazy. I just shot their holiday event on Friday too. And this time now they paid me to do this.
Yeah.
And so everything comes full circle. And I believe in paying your dues.
Yeah.
And to them, I was like, no, like you helped me start off. And so I did that event, and through that event, I met so many people. And I believe through that event also, they were posting on social media. They posted about me.
Yeah.
And then Dulce found me on Instagram. But even till this day, though, whenever I get like DMs or messages or even certain clients, I've had people that I ask them like, how'd you find? Because I see like we have nothing in common, like no mutual followers or anything.
Sure.
And I was like, how did you find me? They're like, oh yeah, I just looked up hashtag Houston photographer or hashtag Houston videographer or hashtag social media, whatever. And I was like, dang, that's so cool. Like this actually works. And I always, whenever that happens, I'm like, can I share this on my story? Like I want people to realize that it works. Like, and I don't just tell you like, it works for my business. Of course, for me, like I've not had to pay for any ads or anything like that. To me, it's always been word of mouth and social media.
Sure.
And till this day, like I have pending DMs too. That people, and it works. Whenever you share stuff, like one of my friends just shared a post yesterday about us, and I got a DM from that.
Yeah.
So to me, I've always seen the power of social media, not only for myself, but for my clients. Like it works.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. I agree.
I'm doing 3 years, and it's so crazy whenever I tell, because now like everybody, whenever I first quit my job, was like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Because I didn't tell anybody what I was doing because I didn't want to get fired. Well, it's because, my dad coming from the corporate world, he was like, don't you dare say anything that you're doing. You just say you're taking some time off to spend with your family. I'm like, okay. And now I understand. So I was just like, I'm spending time with my family. But this whole time, I quit in April. Since January, I was working, which, speaking about starting the year, like your life can change in a matter of 3 months, not even 6 months. You just have to like really sit down and like work on it and dedicate. Like I had to sit down like, okay, let me buy a domain. Oh, okay, I need to go open up a business account. Oh, my dad's like, yeah, you need to go here. You need to go open up, go claim your name, your business, like all these other things. And it's like, I worked on that for 3 months until I was able to quit. And so a week after I quit, then I announced I was starting a business, and everyone was like, hold up, what? But that
you sold us out for this.
And it's crazy though, because now everybody asks you, wait, how did you do it? Because at back then they're like, you're crazy, and now they're like, wait, how did you do it? Especially after the pandemic.
Are they using you yet?
What do you
for
mean?
Anything? Like have they reached out to you?
I help a lot of my friends still work there, and so I help them a lot. I've brought some interviews and stuff like that, but I'm usually the contact person, which is funny with the name of my business. I really do connect people. And so to me, my friends who are reporters or that are looking for stories, they come to me and ask me, hey, do you know someone that's dealing with diabetes? Because we're doing a story on diabetes. Yes, here's a contact. And it happened literally a couple of days ago. One of Natalia's, for her pageant, one of the girls had diabetes, and she was rocking like everything. She was talking about diabetes. And I'm like, yeah, I have a contact for you. Or they're like, hey, we're looking for someone, a local business that's doing stuff for the Astros. Here's your contact or whatever. So it's mainly because of that. Like, and to me, it's a cool thing for my clients because I know them. But to me, in the long run, it's just kind of like, I did use a lot of my experience though there. A lot of what I did at the station or in my background, I've been able to use now. To me, it's still storytelling. I just do it through social media now, not on TV.
So did you already have like the photography, like you already knew how to do all that? Was that in school that you learned, or was it when you finally got a job? You're like, what? Because photography is a whole different, like animal. You know what I'm saying? And videography is a whole other animal, And so all these things, guys, when I'm not just I talk about her a lot on my podcast. I always tell I don't think like how you've saved my life and changed my life. This was Rob could tell you how frustrated I was. I would be on Pinterest, like social medias for the month of November, like social media ideas for the month of November, and I'd be on there like searching, and then that's how I learned about hashtags, how important hashtags were. And there's only so much you can learn. I I think I told you I had taken like 2 workshops online to try to teach myself. I mean, I was really trying to do this because I knew it worked, because that's how I was able to push my Zumba classes.
Yes, I remember you mentioned that.
Through my social media, but it was also word of mouth. So it was kind of 50-50. So this student helped me because you told someone, so now that person's following me. So now they tell another person. So was it really me doing a lot of it? I don't know. It might have been both, that I was trying to push it, and the fact that
but the fact that you were online though is important.
Yeah.
So they could find you.
But I didn't know anything about it. I went down to one of my first like posts, like the couple of first ones. None of them had hashtags. That's when I knew I still didn't know. Then I saw a little bit more, and then I saw where I added like 3, and then it was like, then I found Gary V on YouTube, because I was also on YouTube trying to learn, right? And then I learned Gary V's like minimum 10 hashtags. I was like, shit, how am I gonna come up with 10 hashtags? I can barely come up with 3, like, you know. And then it's like you have to think outside of the box to think like about the hashtags. It was just so much. And then I was like, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work, and how am I going to continue to build this presence by myself? Like, it was insane. So what I'm getting at is, even pictures is hard. How you post, the time of day that you post. It's like, when are your people on? You already had the photography experience also from school, or you already had taken class, or what? How did that come? And videography.
The photography aspect, I just had gotten a camera like in high school, and I started playing around with it, and I just kind of learned on my own, and I was just taking photos like, oh, my aunt, she had a baby, or she's getting married, you know, just for fun. And I really just did that just for fun. I was just playing around with it. But it's so crazy, because when you really think about it, you know, it's just turning a hobby and monetizing it. And how can you monetize it? But the hard thing is not learning it. The hard thing is finding your audience. Because there's a lot of photographers out there. There is a gazillion photographers and videographers. And I had this conversation actually yesterday with my friend too. And I was like, and she's like, oh, isn't it like hard though? Like, if you say, and I'm like, it's hard if you're trying to do the same thing as somebody else. But what I did and what I learned is that I'm not over here trying to sell what everybody's selling. I have a very specific audience. Can I do every type of photography? Yes. Like, if you tell me you want to take pictures with your kids, I literally took some holiday photos yesterday. I will do it. But I found that the audience that I'm trying to get at, and then everything else kind of just comes along with it, is I saw a huge opportunity with entrepreneurs. That every person that has a brand, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an influencer, a creator, whatever, you need photos of yourself and what you're selling.
Sure.
And not everybody has that. I mean, you can literally just go to a restaurant down the street, and you're not going to get something that's on the menu unless you went through Yelp to look for a photo. Or you're not going to ask like, hey, what does that one look like, you know? And I think that to me clicked, you know, because I remember, because my mom has a spa. And so I remember we had done, like, Alex and I had done a video for her. And that's when it clicked to me. And I was like, that's so true. Like, literally, if you have a brand, you need content. Like, it's not an option anymore. Like, you need to be able to visually see what you're buying. And we do this all the time. Or even if you go buy something on Amazon, you're also looking for photos. Like, you're looking for ways of like, okay, can I see myself with that? Or is it worth it? Or what does it really look like? Or what am I really getting out of it? And I think the hard part when it comes to service-based, because product-based, we can take a photo of the hat. Perfect. Are you wearing it? But I think the hard part then became whenever you sell a service, because that's not something you see.
Right.
And that was very hard. That was like, I think another hurdle for me, that I decided to do a business that was not product-based, because that basically in the beginning I was selling air. Because I'm just like,
I'm like selling words.
I know. I'm just like,
I can convince you, listen.
Yes, I can convince you that this is like, you know, it's so hard. And a lot of people don't talk about that. When you're service-based, it's 10 times harder, which is also why it's 10 times worth more the investment. But it's very hard for your clients to see it at the beginning. And once they do, they're like, oh, yeah, that's true. I see it now. And that's when the videography came in, because there's certain things that I can't take a picture of and you're going to understand. Sure. I have to, in video, show you what it is.
Sure.
Or explain it to you like I'm doing it right here to you. Whenever, same thing, which we'll talk about the class, but whenever I first started doing my class in the pandemic, if I posted a picture of a phone saying I'm going to do a social media class, then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And
sure.
like, I literally had to, like, okay, let's there we go. In the middle of the lockdown, I'm here recording videos and literally convincing people why they need to take my class. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, you need to take my class because XYZ, this is what we're going to cover. And once they put a face to it and it's like literally a talking head, they're like, oh, I can connect with this person. This is another person. Everything just kind of clicks. And with the videography, I did learn a lot at U of H. Like, they would teach us how to edit. And I also did learn a lot while working at the station. But it's all really like, I mean, nowadays when people ask him like, hands-on. I hate to say it, but you have to be hands-on. Yeah. And it sounds sometimes there is like, I hate to say like Google it or YouTube it, but like it's literally there. Like it's literally sitting there. But it's not just taking in that information. It's actually practicing. It's actually doing and learning and changing and investing. I think that's the biggest thing, because it's like there's so many types of cameras out there. Yeah. And like I just did a huge upgrade and changed my systems and everything, which it takes time. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's able to start like that. But it really is just trial and error. It is.
So I want to talk about also the services that you offer, because it's a huge range of like services. So I don't know how we can approach that. Let's see. Should we start with what you offer me, maybe, and then you can expand from there? Yeah. Okay. So when I reached out to Ilse, I kind of told her it was a consultation. So you start with the consultation first, and basically I said, can you look at my 3 brands across my podcast, my apparel, and my personal? And I explained to her that my following was on my personal. That's where I had my most engagement, because these other 2 needed a lot of work. Thankfully, Rob took over my podcast one, and he's picked up those numbers, because I think we had like maybe 400 that were following. Now we're at 1,000, nice. So he's taken over. One thing that I talked to him about is like, I'm cool with what it looks like right now, but I told you, it's like, I want for that to have its look. And when you see it, it's my podcast. Mm-hmm. When you see this, that it's my apparel. And when you see this, that it's my account. You know what I'm saying? Which is the reason why I kept the same HERR font for apparel and for the lounge, right? Mm-hmm. Because I wanted people to, when they see that, it's like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, that's important.
Ooh, for the lounge.
For the lounge, yeah. So I wanted that. So when I reached out to you, I said, can you please do like a scan of all 3 of my accounts and tell me what needs to be worked on and how we should attack it, right? Mm-hmm. And so then obviously you told me like, y'all, I deleted all my pictures from HERR Apparel, just so y'all know.
When?
That's usually what happens when I first meet with you.
When she
initially.
I don't recommend it, but she was like,
I was like, no. I'm doing it. I'm not going to keep them on here. The only ones I kept were the professional ones that I did take, but any ones that I kind of like went into the studio and I used another, no offense, but like now that I understand it more, I know now like what I'm looking for. And like Ilse says, there's going to be some photographers that don't see your vision, and you have to find someone that understands your brand. If someone doesn't understand your brand, it's okay to tell that person. It's like a personal trainer.
Yes.
When they're no longer doing something for you, it's time to break up. Mm-hmm. I've always said this to all my clients. When you no longer feel that I am providing what you're looking for, it's time for us to break up. It's time for you to find a new trainer then. You know what I'm saying? In anything, I feel that way, And so I kind of felt like a lot of my old pictures just were not describing me versus now. The other day I sent her a text. I sent her a screenshot of my HERR apparel. I said, girl, look how good my apparel page looks. I said, it looks all nice. There's not one there's just not a bad picture on there anymore because I've invested in it. And it started off with a consultation, a review of all 3 of my accounts. And then you also telling me like, you need to kind of like change your little story things. Like it was just little things from there. And then I said, I wanted you to help me with social media, and I'll let you take over on maybe explaining them how you came about with what we do on a monthly basis, because I pay Ilse a monthly fee to provide these services for me. And then I pay her another fee. So guys, when she tells you invest, it really, literally is investing in your business. It's not like I'm just gonna do this and not. And like, if you really want this and you really have a vision, I feel like, and let's just say you're thinking about, like, a few of you guys have sent me DMs and said, actually, one of our newest Patrona members left a message and said, you've really motivated me. I'm going to go for it. I've started my business.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So I really feel like if you're there right now, which is why I said our slogan's going to be finish strong for
Yes.
2021 is, listen to this episode so that you can see how important investing in social media is.
Maybe listen to it twice.
Yes. So go ahead, Isa. I'll let you take over. Like
Before you explain it, is she good where she parked? I don't know if she parked outside.
she parked on the
The
driveway.
driveway.
Okay,
Yeah,
she's
we're
good. All right.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
If not, we have another fee coming up.
Exactly. Add it to your 15th of the month, Marisol.
That was funny.
Actually, well, one of the things that you mentioned about, you know, the photos and that you look at it and you're proud of it now, I think that's what's important. That's when it comes down to, is that whenever you look at your page and you look at the photos, like, you know how hard you worked to work on that hoodie. You know the time, the effort, and the energy that you make to make sure that not only like the quality is good, that the fabric's there, that everything's going to be the best of the best. And all of that hard work is worthless if it does not translate online when your clients are going to see it. And I think that's the gap that a lot of people don't realize. They're like, oh, just take a picture of it. It's like, is it really going to translate what you want your clients to feel? Or if they look at that photo and you know, that's like another part of social media too, is that it's your resume nowadays. A resume, I feel like a lot of the times people see it as a corporate thing, but it's your portfolio or your resume of your work. And whether you have a business or not, people are looking at that and they are going to judge you based off of what you post.
For a fact, even though we don't want to admit it, it's our social, what is it, Rob? Our social credits?
Our social credit score.
Yeah.
Literally, like whatever you post, the quality of the content that you post, that's how you are judged. Like, I mean, all the people that we don't meet in person and they just come across your profile, that is their first impression of you.
For sure.
And if you sit on that, then you're like, I don't know about y'all, but me, I'm extra. So I want to make sure that I'm not basic.
Yeah.
So if you are going to come to my profile, whether it's my personal or my business, what you see is what you get. And I put thought and effort and I need to make sure that that's translated in everything that I do.
To the T, guys. So to my, oh, by the way, Don texted me to remind me of all the things I said I need to post and I haven't posted. So shout out to Don for, Don's also going to be working on,
She goes, I need to be her assistant inside her world.
Yeah. So she's going to be, I'm going to have to talk to her about that. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys a screenshot. And I might I'm going to probably black out the things that because I want nobody to take my ideas, you know, but I want to show you guys how, like, even to the T of sending you these monthly ideas is on brand with her brand.
Yeah.
So the way she titles things, the way she uses the font and everything is still on brand for Connect Media Firm. And to be able to do that across, I don't think people understand that, like what on brand means.
Yeah.
And maybe that's another time you need to be on here about speaking about being on brand, because this literally could be a part 2 for like all social media stuff. Like, no joke.
Well, shit, how much time does he have? I mean, she could do both episodes today.
I'm down.
Yeah. Part 1 would be the free one, and part 2 would be on the Patreon if you want to get part 2.
I'm down.
Because we're already at half an hour. I mean, there's no way in 30 minutes we're going to cover everything.
Yeah, because on brand's another thing. But she's just reiterate what she says about being extra. Yeah, she's extra even on delivering how you're going to read the content that she's assigned to you. Like, it's even on brand for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think, I mean, it's because you have to think about it, and whether you have a small business or not, but when you look, if I were to just a cup and I remove the logo, you're going to look at those because like, oh, that's Chick-fil-A. Oh, that's McDonald's. Oh, that's Starbucks. Like, you know, but we only know that because of visually what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And I think what's important is that's the impression that I want people to have. And so that's why even like when we've talked about it, it's like, what's the impression that you want your clients to have? you know?
Is that how you explain it to the layman? Let's use the patrona, for example, the one that Marisol mentioned. Like, is that how you would explain it to a layman who's just starting to dabble into entrepreneurship in their first business or their first project?
Explain to them what part?
The branding, like what you just explained as far as like what people are going to see as far as what they put out.
The best way that I can explain it that we are all used to is what we see on a daily basis. And it's usually like fast food restaurants or or if you like, I mean, just think about it. There's all these restaurants, all these fast food restaurants. Why do we still go to Chick-fil-A?
For me, it's customer service.
Okay, there we go.
They got the bomb ass chicken.
And that's
And the food.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's quality food. Like
exactly.
I know that I'm going to get real chicken, not,
No offense, Mickey D's.
whatever other meat they use somewhere else.
They're still closed on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And you're still going to wait to go on Monday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think if that says anything about them is the quality at the end of the day. It's not the quantity.
Yeah.
It's the quality. And I think we talked about that whenever you're on social media, you could post as many times as you want. That is your phone. You do whatever you want to do with it. But it's all about quality to me. And it's like, you want to be that person.
Right.
You want to be that person that people are going to remember and that they're going to want to keep going back to because of not only how you treat them, but what you are providing to them.
Sure.
Quality and bringing value into their lives. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I try to emphasize is, yes, of course, we're going to have to sell on social media. But I think at the end of the day, it's also, I always go back to, but what value are you bringing into people's lives? Because that's why they follow you. They don't follow you because they want to spend money.
Yeah.
They're following you because you're giving them something that they're missing in their lives. And you can do it even while selling, which is what's so important. So with the social media aspect of things, I think and actually Marisol is one of the people that I learn a lot from. And part of entrepreneurship is just trial and error and you learning because there's a lot of things that I didn't know was needed until I have someone like a Marisol telling me, hey, I need this in my business. And I'm like, oh, that aligns with something that I would do. And I think with this, whenever I had first started my business, like the main thing that I wanted to focus on was social media management, which ironically is the one thing that I'm trying to take a step back from now. But I'm finding out other ways to work around it. What I really wanted to focus on is I realized, hey, like I love social media and people don't have time to post, so I can do it for them. And it worked out. A lot of my first clients and what really got me established is being a social media manager, running people's pages. There's people that had a lot of content.
And you do that for some still now,
I still
right?
do it for some people, yes. And it's just kind of like, I was like, wait, like they don't have time to post, so I can write the captions. I can do this and this and that for them. And that's really where I had first started. And then over time, and even now, I started to realize, actually, the hard part isn't the posting. Like you have time to post. What you didn't have time to do though was find ideas, create the content, or write the captions, and understanding how to do it.
Yeah.
The hard part isn't hitting publish.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Not at all.
And I can publish whatever you want.
Exactly. And I think that's what it clicked later on while I was actually like in the groove of things of working with my clients. I was like, hold on. So actually, or whenever my clients would come to like, I just don't have time to post. And I was like, no, actually you do have time to post because I know you're on social media. What you don't have time though is to create your content or find ideas or write the captions. And that's where I started to navigate. I'm like, that's what I need to focus on. That's what I need to really provide to the clients. The back end, the pre-producing everything. And so from then I started from social media, and obviously when you manage someone's social media, it's not just posting. So I was like, well, you need photos, right? So then I would add on to that. Okay, well, we're going to shoot monthly. Every month, we're going to shoot content for you. And then on top of that, it's like, well, obviously you need copywriting. So that as I started that, a bunch of other services started opening up. And I realized that every entrepreneur, they're on a different journey. And everybody has a different opportunity of investment in their marketing. And that was what's important to me, is creating something customized to that person. And so I'll have clients that tell me, hey, I just need you to write my captions. And they give me all of the photos that they have. Is like, just write, and here are your captions. Or, hey, I just don't have time to I don't have time to post stories. Just create me X amount of story graphics a month. Here's your stories delivered every month. So I just started finding little things that they needed to get off of their plate. And whenever I have that first conversation with a lot of my clients, I ask them, what can be taken off of your plate? And because they're like, I just don't know what I need or anything. We obviously usually start with the one-on-one consultation because you just need to understand social media to begin with. Whether you're going to run it or not, like you should understand it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a branch of your business and it's part of your image and it's part of your brand. And then in line with that, I just ask them, what are you struggling with, or what can be taken off of your plate? Or what can you be doing that? How long did it take you to write that caption or to take that photo? What can you be doing during that time for your business? They're like, oh yeah, I could be working on finding more inventory, or I could be working on, you know, maybe getting some reviews for my clients, something like that. And then you pass that on. And so I think that's where I try my hardest to just create that gap for them, is just realizing, repurpose your time on other parts of your business, and then we help them with anything marketing related.
Yeah.
And right now, I think one of the biggest and most popular thing right now is obviously creating content. And content, even in the past 3 years that I've been self-employed, has evolved tremendously.
Yeah.
That even till this day, like we're still adjusting. Like whenever I first started, it was photos every month. Everybody wanted photos. And now it's like, no. Now we want video. And now we need some like everything is changing. And what's important, and for me and for any entrepreneur, you just have to adjust.
Yeah.
And you have to be open to switching it up.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's so out of our comfort zone. And sometimes change also requires a bigger investment, but it also may equal a bigger return in investment as well, you know?
But you have so many clients. Like, how do you come up with ideas for everyone? That's, I don't know where I was like, because, you know, like 2022 is happening. There's some things I already told you. Like, I want another consultation. I want to tell you what other stuff I want to start adding and so forth. I don't know what you said. And I was like, I don't know what, just kind of like my little light bulb just went. I was like, wait, she does this for me. Like, does this for Dulce. And you know what I'm saying? All the clients that she has. And it's just like, does her mouse ever go to sleep? You know, is your little hamster just always like on the wheel? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, it's a lot to come up with. Like, even as an, okay. So one thing that I never wanted my personal page to look like was perfect, because my life is not perfect. So I wanted a combination of professional pictures that you take of me. And then I wanted more like, you know, because I'm a lot older than Rob and Ilse, you know, I wanted pictures that looked like I took them with my camera, like, you know what I'm saying, with my phone, right? So what, Rob? Because I feel like you have something at the tip of the tongue to clown me about my age now. I could see it. I wanted that to portray, you know, to show that. I wanted you to see that I'm just like you. We're alike. There's nothing different from me. I live a chaotic life.
Some might say spirited life.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, all over the place. And so I wanted for my page to show that I am all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm human, and you know what I'm saying? And we all have, can you imagine if I always like had Ilse like edit all my pictures? Like, Ilse, I need you to make sure like everything is perfect on there. It'd be like, well, damn, you know, like,
it'd be like DLB's page, you know?
She is perfect. There's a difference.
Some might think Marisol's on the perfect side.
She is perfect. She can do no harm. But you see what I'm saying? So I don't know how that's even doable.
That is a good question. Like, what is what
does it take? Yeah.
As an insight to what you do, what's your motivator, and what kind of keeps you on point for all the different things you have to work on?
And where do you find the time? Because you're still taking pictures.
I don't have kids.
Oh, we were talking about that before the podcast. Yeah, it's a very good point.
Well, one, I do have the privileges that the whole day is for me. And whenever you are self-employed, and this is a conversation that I have with a lot of my friends that want to tap into being entrepreneurs, like, yeah, and it happened obviously with my boyfriend with that. I was like, yeah, like, let me have my corporate job and I'll just do this on the side. I'm like, then you don't want it that bad.
You sound super organized too, without knowing you that well.
Yes, she is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's super must.
It's like
it's a must.
everything is
Rob,
super scheduled.
You think I'm a certain way?
Oh no, this is probably the second or third time I've met Ilse for, you know, this is probably the longest time, because the first time we had her on Zoom. I forgot.
On Zoom,
Yes.
yeah.
And then I met you when your boyfriend came.
She's been on Zoom twice, because the last time too was kind of pandemic-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're out of it, but not really out of it. And so that's when she...
This being like the longest we've actually seen each other in person, I'm like, oh yeah. She reminds me a lot of like Dawn when she's on a project. She's like, there's no distracting her from like organizational like needs. That's you.
Yeah.
Which is important. You got to have it.
Especially with them, as many clients as you have.
There's just no room for...
And you have to be disciplined.
Happens.
That's another thing people don't understand when you're an entrepreneur. You literally have to be disciplined with your time because like being lazy is totally a wish of an option I had.
Did you say that there's no time for let's see what happens?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a mantra of Marisol's and I's. We'll see what happens.
No, that's Alex. That's Alex. That's my boyfriend. I'm like,
we'll figure it out.
No.
When's his birthday?
No. I'm like, no, there is no room for let's see what happens. But I guess for me, and actually that was my conversation or my post whenever it was the Women's Entrepreneur
Well, your
Day.
birthday's in December. What are you? A Sagittarius?
Sagittarius.
That's my sister. My sister's super organized. Like she likes to wake up at, like she wakes up at this time.
Well, I'm flexible on the waking up.
No, she's like
No kids.
She's here, right? And like, guys, I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but we don't drive my Honda much. It stays parked, so the sticker's expired. We had been out of town. The tour just finished.
Riding dirty.
Listen, so we had a chance to do was get the inspection done.
Yeah.
And I hadn't got time to get online to get the sticker. My sister's in town visiting. And so she's like, hey, can I borrow your card to go do it? I was like, sure. And I said, by the way, the sticker's expired. I was like, so should you get a ticket, show them this online thing that it's coming in the mail.
Yeah.
So just so you know. And so she's like, you just couldn't go. I'm like, no, I don't have time to go stop at Kroger's. And I'm like trying to tell her, and she's like, and then she goes, but they send this to you like blah, blah, blah in advance. I don't know how long in advance.
Yeah.
She said they sent it to you. I'm like, Cynthia, here are the keys to my car.
Take it or leave it.
Do whatever you need to go do. But I wonder if that's a Sagittarius thing because her birthday's the 17th.
I hate excuses. To me, excuses don't. To me, it's always like there is no excuses. It's just not your priority.
One time,
I always say that I'm like, don't tell me you don't have time.
Yeah.
Just tell me it's not your priority.
Yeah.
And I respect that. Because I just hate it. Like, I just didn't have time or this. I'm like, or I'll have people or like a lot of my clients, not myself because I have it automatic, but I'll have a lot of my clients like, because I didn't have time. And I'm like, but you're on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because we had she took our family Christmas pictures.
Yeah.
Rob. Oh, so that Rob. Yeah. What time were my Christmas pictures?
Oh, you really want me to answer this?
What time did I tell you they were? Why y'all had to finish the podcast? And
2. You said we had to leave at 2.
See, I was organized because
on a different schedule.
I thought that I had scheduled the photo shoot for 2:30. That's what I had on my planner. I felt so good because it was 2:03 and I was about to head out of my house. I hadn't even looked at my phone because I had been getting ready. Everybody was ready. We were done. We were ready to head out. You guys were finished podcasting. Pete had done everything. 2:03. I told Luisa, I said, can you just get a bottle ready so we can head out because it's time for us. So we got to be there at 2:30. And then I get my phone and Ilsa says, hey, Marisol, I'm here. I'm like, she's usually there 10 minutes before. Wow, why would she be there 40 minutes before? And I was like, I didn't think nothing of it. And then I go to pick up my purse and said, wait a minute. Were the pictures at 2:00? And I go and I look on the reservation for the place that we got. Yeah. It was from 2 to 4, Rob.
I never heard this. You didn't tell me that.
It just, we haven't talked since then.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It was an episode from Home Alone. I get out of the room after grabbing my phone and reading
get the car.
I said, everybody, let's go. I was like grabbing and we were heading out. Trust me, I was so proud that I had all these children ready. I had Mickey ready, Penny ready, everybody ready. Backpack was ready. I was really proud of myself that I managed to do this. That many kids and get myself ready.
Did you leave anybody behind?
No.
Home Alone
Mickey,
style? What?
We're already on our way and we're on the freeway, right? And she goes, Soul, and she said it real quiet because she already knew. And it took everything in me not to be upset, right? Because I was already upset at myself.
Sure.
You pay for studio time. Yeah. You're paying for a photographer. Again, guys, this is an investment. You guys don't understand. So you just feel like you were wasteful, Yeah. And so then she says, hey, so I forgot my dress. I just looked down and I just said, breathe in, breathe out. I said, can you make a U-turn, Pete? I was like, she forgot her dress. And we just both kind of stayed quiet. And we just, neither one of us said
He didn't say anything?
Neither
Wow.
one of us
Proud
said
of ya.
anything.
Proud of Chingo.
I'm surprised he didn't. And I just couldn't say anything. And we just went back. We grabbed her dress because she has nothing to do except what? Worry about one dress.
He had one job,
One
Steve.
job. You know what I'm saying? And so I told her before, when I was like, you have all your stuff ready, right? Like your shoes no, on top of that, I made sure to pack her accessories in my bag so that she wouldn't forget it. Okay. So I was like, you have everything, right? Right. Okay. So she's on the couch on her phone because again, we're early, Ilse. We're early.
So we thought.
So we thought. It was.
Was it a wardrobe change that she forgot?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh my God. And we get there, guys. Let me just tell you how Ilse works. We get there at 3:00. My reservation ended at 4:00. We ended at 3:59.
Damn. Drill sergeant.
She was texting me the whole time, and Alex, my boyfriend, there because he was shooting the video, and I was like, when they get here, we're just gonna chill. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. I was like, I'm just giving you a heads up. They might be a little rattled because I can only imagine how stressful they are right now. I was like, we're just gonna have a good time for 1 hour.
That's exactly how she made it.
So you had 1 hour.
And on top of that, guys, because I like to just add more stuff to my plate, I'm gonna do the Vlogmas again this year on YouTube.
You said that last week. Have you started it?
Well, her boyfriend came in to
Okay.
record our intro to the Vlogmas, right? So that's why I wanted to be on time, was because I had this whole production in my head ready to go.
Oh.
And it didn't happen. And I was so mad. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was just like, why is it that when I try to do like something, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of always like, I was like, just, all right, it is what it is. We got it done. So the intro will be done. And so my Christmas pictures will be done. And we did it. We ended with 1 minute before.
Oh my God. Fantastic. Good job, guys.
I mean, we just have to move a little bit quicker. Or I remember when she was texting me, she was like, Elsie, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, like, it is what it is. It already happened.
See, maybe in the future, all you need is an hour. You start booking an hour.
No, it's better when we have two. Like,
I mean,
we've done it.
We've done it.
We've done it.
It's just, preferably, it wouldn't be like, switch, hurry up, go outfit change.
No, that makes sense.
It's more of her
fun.
like, okay, I have an idea. It gives her time to also, think of
Move around,
how
No,
we
of
can do
course.
this, how we can stage that. So
we had
no,
3
the 2
options,
hours,
but we were only really able to stick to 2 options. So
And I paid for this. You see what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
I had to pick my battles. I lost money because I paid for an extra set. That was another thing. So guys, if you're preparing for Christmas pictures, make sure you're ahead of it. And I know you're wondering, tell them, Ilse, why are you taking pictures in November for Christmas? When are you supposed to take them?
a month in advance. Everything a month in advance.
Yeah, see, that's why I put my Christmas tree up November 1st.
Whoa, Rob. You
Yeah,
took it to another level now.
You're exposing her with the pumpkins outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Pete showed me this meme about something about everybody's getting ready for Christmas and I still have rotting pumpkins on my porch or something. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
that's us
that's
right now.
literally.
I was like, oh my God. But anyway, so tell them a little bit about what you do for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about that, but tell them just a little bit like how you organize it. And we've changed it.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have we changed what we do?
Lost count.
Yeah. Because at first we would do only pictures. It was
Yes.
picture ideas for the month of whatever
Yeah.
month it was in. And then we'd set up a photo shoot. And then I was just responsible for bringing
Props,
merch, whatever it was. And then after that, we did what after that?
We've done pretty much a mix of everything. I just think that, like what we mentioned over time, we adjust with social media. We adjust with what the pages provide to us. Whenever we first started, like reels weren't a thing.
Right. Okay.
Literally.
That's another thing. Yeah. you're
Literally.
right.
Like whenever we first started, we didn't have a reel option. Like that wasn't, so that was never on anybody's mind.
Yeah.
So I think that as like the social media pages start rolling out with new features and new tools for you to use, it's to your advantage to use them because essentially the platform is free. It's up to you what you want to do with it and how you really want to invest in it. So I think whenever we first started, it was with photos. And I think one of the conversations that we had right now is about being over prepared and planning in advance. And that's just my personality trait. Like, it's just in my name.
Yeah.
Well, part of the Christmas pictures, and it's the whole conversation about the setup.
Yeah.
And she was like, I booked the place. And I was like, okay, cool. Just make sure, double check, triple check that they still have holiday stuff set up. She was like, yeah, I'm sure they do, whatever.
I was like, yeah, the last picture they posted on their social media was of a customer using their Christmas area.
And then I was like, okay, I love to double, triple check stuff all the time. I was like, just in case. But okay, I trust you. And then you're like, Ilse, I'm glad I checked because they don't have them set up and I have to specifically request for the holiday setup.
So I didn't know. It made me check. She said, double check. I was like, I really don't. I doubt they would. This is me, right? I doubt they would have a studio without Christmas stuff right now. I mean, we're in the Christmas, photos
season
right now, And I just said, I'm going to go ahead and just shoot her an email just in case. I'm like, I just want to double check that. Like, nope, we have 4 options. Here are your options. Here's what they look like. And I was like, Ilse, I'm so glad you told me to check. Otherwise, I would have gone to a house.
And there's no holiday setup.
Holiday setup.
Which
like
that would
4th
have,
of
on
July
top of
shit.
being late, that would have been a whole other
Oh, my God.
vlog.
Can you imagine? It would have been a mess.
It would have made for good clicks, though.
No, that would have not.
It's not worth
How
it.
Christmas turned into 4th of July.
Yeah. The good thing is that house is set up just kind of really pretty. It's in the
Yeah.
Heights. It's just a really pretty house inside to where I guess we could have
You
made
could get
it
away with
work
it,
with
yeah.
our outfits, our Christmassy looking outfits. But you needed the extra. I mean, they're like make it look. They've got fake cookies
Yeah.
that look like real cookies. We brought real cookies, so the ones that we're eating are real. So just in case when y'all see these pictures, I'm like, they're eating fake cookies. No, they're. But they've got a good setup, so we would have been fine. So, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it goes hand in hand with the being prepared and planning way in advance.
Yeah.
So for me and my clients, it's like part of the issue as well is that what a lot of people try to do is that they try to do everything the same day. It's like you're like, oh, today's Christmas. I need to post something. Let me take the picture. Let me write the caption. Let me post it right now. Like you're literally doing the idea, the photo, the creating the content, the writing the caption, and doing it all in one day. And that's why you get stressed out because you try to do that every single day of your entrepreneur life.
Yeah.
And you are taking up hours of your day for one post, not even like multiple posts. Like you're only doing it for one post. And so that's whenever you have to kind of backtrack. Like this is what I tell my clients, even yesterday that I posted that I was doing another holiday shoot. I have someone, oh my God, I want to take my holiday photos and I only have this day. I'm like, we all know when Christmas is, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why do we wait the week of that you decide to do like, I mean, to me, I always think like that. To me, it's like, we're in December and I'm like, my mom's birthday is in January. I need to get her a present now.
Wow.
I'm just like, but like to me, it's like, when things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Why wait?
Well, you're saying when there's like
specific holidays
yes.
or
Like, for
things that you're going to
example,
post about. Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Last year, I didn't realize how booked people are for the holiday pictures, right? So when I reached out to Ilse to take my holiday pictures, she's like, I'm sorry, like I'm completely booked. I can't have your pictures. I think you couldn't even, it was like third week in December. And I was like, well, I don't need them by then, you know? So I wasn't, they're a great, I have nothing to say about the business. The pictures just weren't my vision, right?
Yeah.
So this time around, I remembered. So I immediately said, hey, I want to make sure that I'm able to book you for my Christmas pictures. So can you tell me already now when you have available? Because you had posted your calendar for November and it was like done. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm barely, guys, getting into the groove of things of like, getting back on social media because having a baby really kind of threw me off to where I really had no, I don't want to say motivation, but I just didn't care to post anything. I was just like,
it's fair.
I'm breastfeeding. I got this cut, I got this other toddler. I'm like, oh my God. And so that's why like I purged and I did this whole cleaning. And that's why I was like, I can't be the only one feeling like the year is ending and you're like playing catch up. I don't know.
Absolutely.
You know? And so I feel like I feel liberated right now because my
Yeah.
house is finally organized. When you're on the road so much, it's really hard. So I'm on the road and I try to keep up with social media and I try to have Ilse scheduled.
Yeah.
And I try to do everything that Ilse. Now, just so you guys know, Ilse sends me a gazillion of YouTube ideas, and I just want you to know that none of them have been recorded. Actually, I'm lying. Video is sitting in my phone, and Ilse told me this a million times, but I only use iMovie, and my iMovie won't update because I don't have storage anymore. So that's why videos are just sitting in my
Priorities, though.
Exactly.
What we talked about.
So that's why I told I could have easily said, I'm going to record this, intro type thing. I'll just let the camera roll and then we'll just do it. And I said, I'm not doing that because I've still not updated my iMovie.
Yes.
Itza, can your boyfriend come in, please, and do the video part of this? And you know what I'm saying? And then that's another thing. You just brought in your boyfriend
Yeah.
also into your business to help with another portion of it.
Well, it's part of what we talked about as entrepreneurs is you can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a hard conversation that you have to have with yourself. And I understand that. Whenever I sit down with people and I sit down with them like, no, I have a business myself. It's so hard to trust someone, to bring in, to trust them with something that you created. Like it's your baby. And it's so hard, especially when, and it happens all the time too. Like I'll have clients like, yes, but I want to book with you. Like I want to work with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, but I can't do this with 100 people. Like
Yeah.
I physically can't.
Do you have a cap, Ilse? Like, have you decided there's a cap where you're like, I can't take any more clients after? Like, for example, when I would do personal training, I'd have a cap in the month. Like, I can't make programs for everybody. Like, and I also had another business too. That's probably another reason why. I had my regular business. I always say this, and then I had that business, like as if it wasn't a real job. It is a real job, but I just felt like I was running two businesses, and I knew that to be successful, I guess, or to be a good trainer, I needed to like be reasonable and say, I can't have more than 10 people a month. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my cutoff from me to really take time because you have to create programs for people to really sit down and create a program for someone. And you know what I'm saying? Go in there and, we work together, etc. Do you have a cut like where you're like, I can't handle more than 100 or more than 50 clients or
not
have you gotten there yet?
Necessarily. I guess because I have two types of clients. I have the monthly like clients that I have consistently. And then I have those that like, I know how much I'm going to make a month with these people that I have every month as a retainer. That's my retainer.
Okay.
Everything else I do after that, if a shoot comes up or this comes up, it's all extra stuff on top of what I'm already making. And I think for me, it hasn't come down to like, I'm not accepting any more clients. I don't look at it that way. I start looking at, I need time for myself. So I'm not gonna allow myself to book anything that day.
Because you also have to be like a person yourself. You have to
And 9 times out of 10, at least in my field, I have the flexibility and the privilege that I can say I'm not available that day.
Sure.
And 9 times out of 10, because of the relationship that I've established with people, we just find another day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it's so important is just allowing yourself. And I do believe in quality over quantity. And that's why I've turned down a lot of people for specific that are my clients. And I'm like, and I've been honest even with you too. It's like, hey, this thing is just not my thing. Like I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about it. And it would be unfair to you if I'm giving you something that I don't even believe in or that I'm not even educated on, you know? And I think that's so important. It says a lot about you as a business owner when you can identify what your strengths and your weaknesses are and you're honest about that.
Yeah.
And for me, like, for example, right now, there's a lot of money in real estate. And I've had so many agents like, hey, run my page. I'm like, I know nothing about real estate. Could I accept that money? Yeah, I could. But at the expense of me doing my job wrong and then someone talking bad about me that I don't know what I'm doing. Like, no. And I'm like, but then I just adjust. And I'm like, hey, I can't run your page because I don't know much about real estate, but you're going to need photos. You're going to need a video.
Yeah.
You're going to need something. You're going to need help, with your page. There's other ways that I can help you.
Sure.
That doesn't involve me being so constantly involved in your business. And so I think for me, that's what's been so important is being honest and being able to identify, hey, I can't help you on this, but I can on this.
Yeah.
Or I'm not available this day because I need to give myself this day off, but I am available this day.
Sure.
And it comes down to the scheduling. And sometimes, I think whenever I first started, and I had a good chunk of a couple months this year that I was like, oh yes, like I'm not working weekends. I'm like, I am not going to work weekends. But then you have certain things pop up that it's like, dang, but all the good stuff with all the money's on the weekends, And so you just kind of learn to adjust. If I know, and you're in charge of your own schedule, I'm not asking anybody for time off.
Yeah.
And actually it was so funny because I lose track of time of when are the holidays too, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know today was Thanksgiving. I forgot or whatever, so it's just kind of like, I think it's so important to just have that discipline that if you're it's okay. I think it's just because we live in a world that the weekends is when everyone's off, but it's okay if you work on the weekends. Just give yourself that time off during the week too.
Yeah.
I think the issue becomes when you're overworking yourself and you're getting burnt out because you're trying to do everything yourself. You're working on weekends, you're working on weekdays, you're trying to do it all. And I think what's helped a lot of my clients is being able to identify, I can't do this. This is not my strength. I need to reach out to someone else to do this for me. And usually that's whenever I come in. And for me, since there are certain things that I can't do everything myself, for me, I just have the privilege also that my boyfriend is in the same field as me. And we have a very similar background, similar degree, similar background in TV. And, when the time came, and I think the pandemic shifted a lot of people's priorities, and we saw the opportunities that there are online more than anything. It's whenever we realize, wait, there's a huge opportunity for this. And I've talked about this. And I think after the main year of the pandemic, when the lockdown happened, I was hesitant to share this, but I had a conversation with Alex and I was like, this is the year that I made the most money in the middle of a pandemic. And I was like, should I share this or not? I'm not trying to show off because I understand a lot of people lost their job. But what I'm trying to get at, and I need help wording this, is that if you really want it, there's an opportunity. You just have to adjust. Whenever the lockdown happened, I lost clients. A lot of my clients cut back because obviously there was no money coming in.
Right.
And so I was like, dang, like this is it right here.
Yeah.
This is going to be it. Like I'm not going to make it to 2 years. And then we were sitting down and I was like, wait a minute. But if everyone's at home and I've been doing these presentations and classes for all these companies, I can just tell people to get on Zoom and I'll teach them. And it was so exhausting doing 2-hour classes every single day. Like my voice, that's why I always lose my voice. Because I'm just like, wait, I'm going to do this. And I spent all of lockdown doing Zoom classes. And I'm like, I would just post on Instagram like, hey, who wants to join me? And at the beginning, because I didn't know where the world was going, I literally did a donation based. And I was like, I'm not charging anybody anything, just whatever you can give me. Like if you get on here and you felt like you learned something and it was quality content, give me whatever you want to give me.
Wow.
Or I started first, I was like, hey, just $10, like something. Like, because I didn't, like people were losing their jobs and everything, but also it was an opportunity for people to grow and to learn and to invest in their business. And that's when I realized, and that's why to me it worked, because the lockdown made a lot of people realize, oh, I'm missing this point of being on social media with my business because now I have to sell on social media. I can't be in person. So I can't be at markets. I have to sell online. People are looking at me on Instagram.
Well, that's how I kicked off my apparel again, was during the pandemic, because I had just kind of, whenever I have time, I'll sell a shirt. That sold out. Cool. I'll see whenever I'll have another release of something. And honestly, I consider my apparel part of social media, if that makes sense, because I use my social media presence to try to sell my items and podcasts and so forth. So again, I'm not bragging or anything like that, but thankfully, because I just want to show you guys or explain how important it is, because I invested in Ilse, I'm able to pay Ilse just from selling my merch. Does that make sense? To where I'm not having to dig out of my other, out of my pocket, because I'm not, you know what I'm saying, making any money. So I'm investing this amount of money on Ilse's services, but it's paying off to where I'm able to continue to have her on a monthly, basis, because these services help me grow my business to where I'm able to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? And
people start expecting things from you. I feel like I think the moment you invest in your business and you start putting out that quality content, they have now a bar of expectations for you.
May so during when I was, I guess, on maternity leave, whatever you want to call it, I was like, you say I have these boxes that I want to release, these what do you call it, mystery boxes.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not motivated, to be honest with you, to do anything right now. I was like, could you do it? And then she busts out these badass reels, and I'm like, great. No, I'll never be able to make a regular reel. Even at the photo shoot, I said, hey, he says, so I need some reels, and it's probably going to have to be you. I was like, because I don't know how I'm going to make these happen. I want some to be me, but then I want some to not be me, because I want to start using other women on my social media also, just because I know that I'm the face of it. I accepted that whenever I realized that when I would use models, my stuff wouldn't sell. But I want to incorporate other women, like, to where this whole thing, so I have these entrepreneur boxes that go out to my patronas that pay on Patreon, right?
Nice.
And so if you know anybody, I'm looking for vendors who basically, I'm doing these entrepreneur boxes. You donate the stuff to me, and it's my way of helping you advertise to my following, right?
Of course.
And so I'd like to do the same, to where, like, I collab with another female. I'm not talking about making stuff collabed. I'm talking about, like, this is another woman who owns a business. Support her as well. She supports me. But she's taking a picture. I want her to be the photo shoot, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to show you, because one of the things that I loved about you, because this is kind of how I feel as well, is it doesn't matter if someone has the same business as you. When you said that, when we talked the first time, I'm like, okay, yeah, she and I see eye to eye, because you can be selling the same thing and it doesn't matter. There's going to be something different about you that the other person doesn't have. The littlest things will set you aside from anybody who's doing the same thing you are. I know there's a gazillion apparel brands out there. Yep. I know I'm not the only one, but I know my purpose of my apparel that I make with my slogans or any of the designs that I have on there. It's because I know that there's days where, like, you're just not having a motive. I don't know. For me, I'm gonna give you an example. The shirt that I bought the day we took the photo shoot, where we went to the little store, the Trail, or what's it called? Tresserelle. Okay. The shirt that said baby on the hip, or something like that, and coffee in my hand, or something, something like that. I'm going to use that shirt for example, because it's not my shirt, but I bought it because I related to what it said, right? Because I know that's how I feel sometimes. And so when I put it on, it's a reminder to me that that's kind of that's who I am. And so whenever I make or do anything of what I show, right, it's like, that's kind of how I feel like, I want for you to feel like when you put on the shirt. You know what I'm saying? When you see the échale ganas, I want you to remind yourself, like, okay, it's one of them days for me. Tengo que echar ganas. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to find ways to incorporate other faces, other females that have businesses, like, wearing my stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess the sense that I just want to show you other entrepreneurs out there as well. And you know what I'm saying? But they're, wearing my stuff. So I want to get there, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but eventually that's my goal.
But I think one of the things that you mentioned right now about that, whatever you put on, because essentially the clothes that you wear say a lot about you, and it's your image and it's your brand. And it's the same thing with social media. Like what you're just mentioning is you want to be proud of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be like, that's me. Yeah. Like, that's exactly represents who I am. And it doesn't mean that it has to be a perfectly curated feed, but at least there's intention and purpose behind it. And I think that's whenever I have those conversations with my clients, and it's the same ones that I've had with you, it's understanding your pillars, understanding what's your purpose. Like, why are you posting that? Like, if you're going to take a picture right now of your coffee mug, that you're having your coffee.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be perfectly curated. It's just you having your coffee. Why are you posting that though?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it really just because you just want to post a picture of the coffee, or is there some more intention behind it that as you're having this coffee and you're reading the quote that says, inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit, you're going to realize, oh, well, that's what I want to share. I want to give a reminder to my followers, because whether you want to admit it or not, social media is a two-way street. Whoever says they're just posting things for themselves is a lie, because then they wouldn't be posting.
Yeah. No, I always say this on my personal, that's my photo album. I'm sharing my photo album. You know, you have family pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily posting for you, but I'm posting for you to see a part of my life. I want you to see my photo album.
But it makes them feel something.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you post a photo, and it goes with any entrepreneur, whenever you post something, yes, it's you, but you have to realize that whatever you're putting out there, they're seeing something in you, in them as well.
Sure, yeah.
And they're getting something from you, whether
Yeah.
you even intentionally do it or not.
Yeah.
So you posting a photo of your chaotic day, even though you posted it and it was your experience, whenever you post it, someone can relate to that.
Like this mug in particular was made during the pandemic because we would sit on the porch. I had this idea for the longest time called Cafecito Time. And it was going to be me on Instagram, just kind of talking to people. And it was going to be called Cafecito Time. And I just never
love
did
that.
it. So whatever. During the pandemic, my husband said, hey, so I want to steal your idea. And I'm like, what idea? He's like, you know, you said you wanted to have Cafecito Time. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, you never did it. So what if we do it now? I was like, that's my idea. So it was like, so we started Cafecito Time. And so then we would sit on my porch, and I said, I need mugs. We need mugs that have this. And this is kind of how I was feeling during the time. It was like, inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit, because it was like so much bullshit happening. I just kind of felt like, damn, what else is going to happen during this pandemic? And that's kind of how these mugs came about. And this was done by Dulce.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like all like.
And that's how you sell a product, though. And I think that's what people miss, because when you posted that, did you share that story?
No, I didn't. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why captions are not done by Ilse. They're done by Marisol.
You mean they're done by Ilse?
No, they're not.
Oh.
I know, and I was there yet. It was like, no, don't worry about that. I just really need the help with this.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
It's hard, but when it comes to the business aspect, because I would never want to, I don't run people's pages for their personal stuff. It's more for the business, because that's what's important and that's what sells.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you compare and you're like, buy my mug today, link in bio, they're like, okay, another mug.
Yeah.
But if you sit down and what we talked about, and you share there's 500 million mugs in the world.
Yeah.
And you're coming out with that other one.
Yeah.
Why should I buy that one?
Mm-hmm. And
You
that was a
have
good
to
story
share
behind
that.
it. Dang it, we should have posted that when we posted these mugs.
Dang.
There's still a few. I'm going to post it now.
There's a story behind everything.
Yeah.
And that's my background in TV, though. Like everything that I do, it's always that. I always find there's a story in everything and everybody.
Yeah.
So do you sit and try to storyboard some of these ideas every time you try to pitch something, or you do it on the fly?
I'm very good at that. I can look at something and I can twist it to make it make sense to you, or that it's going to tie it into the brand. And that's hard to teach.
Mm-hmm.
She's the brand whisperer.
I don't know. It's very, very hard to teach. But you just have to, to me, it's
Okay, we're about to start brand.
Yeah, that was perfect timing,
okay.
actually.
So
perfect
should we
timing.
segue and cut off here?
Yeah, right here. We'll end it.
So I'll end it with her what do you call it? Classes coming up.
Yes.
So we'll do that.
Perfect. And then let everybody know if they want part 2. Where can they hear part 2, Marisol?
On www.patreon.com/Her Lounge Podcast.
Boom, nailed it.
All right, guys. So if you're interested in just getting a consultation with Ilse or signing up for one of her classes, here's how you can do so. So January 4th, Tuesday, January 4th, and Thursday, January 6th from 7 to 8. It's the same class. She's just offering 2 different options. You can sign up for that, and it's a social media class.
Yes, so
right?
we're gonna cover basically what we talked about. Instagram. We're gonna show you how to.
She's gonna actually show you like how to do it. So it'll be,
and that's part of my consultation. So we obviously have a presentation, but we're gonna be doing it on Zoom, and then on one side it's the presentation, on the other side it'll be actually my phone showing you how to make those changes on the go. So we're gonna make sure that your pages are obviously not only set up properly, but that they're running as they need to. Giving you all the cool apps, websites to get you these ideas that you may need for your social media pages. And I think one of the biggest reasons why, and I had mentioned to Marisol why I wanted to do it in January, it's because I know people's minds right now are not on there.
Right.
I know your mind is on other things, but we want to obviously kick off the year strong. And Marisol actually holds me accountable to do more of these classes because I've been putting these in the back burner.
I took one right after I had her consultation, and I learned a lot from it.
Yes.
From apps to use, because I had Planoly.
Yeah.
I just really didn't know what all I could do and how to bring it in, and you know what I'm saying. And just so you guys know, this wasn't the first time. I didn't hire one for myself. This was for my husband's brand. We had hired someone else. They weren't outsourced. They were great as well, right? But this is what I mean by you having to know who.
Well, let's move this into the second part, okay? But before we wrap up too, before we all leave, let's remember to do like an email campaign leading up to it. So if you're not on Marisol's email list, go to marisolherrera.com and sign up for the email list.
Yes.
If you're a patron, you're already on there. If you listen to the podcast, hopefully you've already signed up, and we'll make sure to send out email campaigns leading up to that.
Sure. Yes. And then they'll need to go. I'll put your website on there because they'll have to fill everything out, and then make sure you use promo code HERR20. And it'll give you a discount on her class.
Yes.
And then she's also giving you guys 20% off until February. Should you want to sign up for any of the other services that she offers, same promo code HERR20. Just make sure you mention it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the discount.
Well, you said make that mental note, and you can write the copy, and I'll put the campaign together.
That's perfect. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And she'll have also. She's going to make also.
Oh, because you know
graphics.
I'm extra, so
she's making graphics for us.
I'll send the graphics out, and I'm recording a promo video for my class on Friday.
So do the video, the copy, and the graphics. Send it over. I'll put it in the campaign, and we'll blast it out.
So thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you'd like to hear part 2 to this social media, deep into social media conversation, please sign up to Patreon. Our Patreon, that's at www.patreon.com /HERR Lounge Podcast. Thank you guys. See y'all Friday.